everyone. Thank you for being here. Today we are on step number 12, and we are talking about spinning the narrative. There are constantly things that we are telling ourselves and the world around us by the way that we behave. And today we're going to talk about 3 ways to change that narrative for your benefit, because everybody has a story to tell, and ours matters when we put in the work to actually figure out who we are and then share that with the world. The first thing we're going to start off with, and I brought my big piece of paper back, so if I look away, it is what I'm looking at, is boundaries. That is one of the buzzwords of our generation, right? Everybody has boundaries, everybody is constantly creating a new one, but boundaries are something that you have and you maintain, and other people are going to test to see if they're there. When you put a fence around your house, it's very clear where your property ends and your neighbor's starts. But what's not clear to other people is if you act a certain way and then you act another way when the same situation comes up. If you are having fun and excited and you're joking and whatever, and someone says something that they shouldn't, and you don't take a step back and reevaluate that afterwards, and you keep going back to that same situation, and those people continue to make these jokes, now your boundaries are starting to look a little more muddy. You don't have a fence anymore. You have an open lawn where people can come and their dogs could go to the bathroom, or the kids can run on it, and there's no clear distinction. People are walking on the sidewalk and then they're walking on your grass because nothing's preventing them from behaving this way. Your fence line exists for you, and you have to maintain it. When people come up against your boundaries, that is a limit that only you know. And you are the only one that can execute actions when people pass that boundary. If somebody says something that is upsetting to you and you don't bring it up, and this person continues to bring it up, you are the person who is at fault now. That person is behaving under the belief that their behavior is okay. And you might be thinking, but if it was me, I would never say that, or I would never do that. But it's not you. This person behaves under their own set of rules, and you may say something to them that they don't like, but that's not what matters. What matters is what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. If you have a friend whose behavior you don't like and you don't bring it up, they're going to keep doing it. So you have 2 options. You can either bring it up to that person because you care enough about that relationship to share about how you feel and what needs to happen next, or how you perceive what's happening, or you take a step back and you remove yourself from that situation. Because at the end of the day, people are going to continue to behave the way that they are, whether or not you tell them. You could easily go to this friend and say, hey, you hanging out with my partner and not telling me isn't okay. Or you could simply decide that I'm just going to distance myself from this. Or this person goes out to lunch or does something or shares something about you to someone else that they shouldn't have. You get to decide if that's okay and if that's not. And if you continue to interact with them, if you continue to share with them at the same level, they're going to perceive that this is okay. It's up to you. And at the end of the day, you don't owe anybody an explanation as to why you're there or why you're not anymore. You show up for people until you realize that you can't show up for them anymore. And it's hard to get there because we want to be friends with all the people that we're friends with. We don't want to see this person who we trusted as somebody who's actually not on your side. This person who painted this image of themselves to be a girl's girl and want to be there for you, but now her behavior doesn't work for you. And that's something only you get to decide. And that is a decision that we all have to make and get to make and need to make. Because this is your life. And if you are starting to feel like somebody is encroaching on your emotions and attacking you, You have to be the one to take a step back and say, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. And that person does not have to be told that. You can simply take a step back and decide better for yourself. And when you see yourself getting angry or annoyed about someone's behavior or how they're acting, it's a good thing, because now you're realizing that what you were okay with before, you're no longer okay with, and you get to decide how you're going to move forward. That anger is showing you that somebody has trespassed, and now you have to put in measures. You need to put in that fence. You need to put in that security system. You need to make it clear what is and what isn't acceptable. And if somebody stops talking to you, if you stop talking to somebody, is that not the most clear message that you can share? At the end of the day, people need to function under this belief that their position in our lives is conditional. Their ability to continue to function within our life is based on their actions, and they're going to continue to act a certain way, or they're going to be removed. And of course, if you're really close to someone, you care about someone, you're going to put in that work to fix that relationship and to make it better and to talk about it, even when it's difficult. But if you don't care enough, it will fade away, and it should fade away, because you are going to be the sum of the people that you're around. And if you are allowing behaviors and traits and characteristics that you don't want to be like in your life, it's going to erode you as a person. And you don't want that. You don't want this person to get into your mindset and mess with it, because it's not worth it. Because if this person was a true friend, they wouldn't act that way to you. They wouldn't make you wonder what's going on. They would be upfront. They would be answering questions before you even ask them. So if you find yourself asking questions like, why didn't they tell me they were hanging out? Why did she just say it like that? What did she mean by that? You have to put yourself first and realize that a true friend, somebody that actually wants to be there for you, is going to be consistent in their actions towards you no matter what. And they're not going to be lying to you or withholding the truth, which isn't the same thing. If somebody doesn't tell you that they did something, in certain categories, it might not be lying. But at the end of the day, it can be whatever you want it to be. It's still not good, and it's still not the thing that we want. So this person gets to be in your life off of your discretion. And if they are messing with that, if they are affecting your mental health, why are they there? You can't pick the people that you work with. You can't pick certain family members, but you can pick who gets access to your time and who doesn't. And those boundaries are there to protect you, because you only have so much energy and time to give to people. And if people aren't investing their energy and time and respect into you, there's absolutely no reason why you should be investing into them. And even if that did exist all the way up until this one incident, that one incident is enough for you to say, all right, I'm taking a step back. This isn't working for me. And people should not function that their ability to mess up and continue to be in your life is a vast margin. It should be very clear where they can exist, because that's probably where you would. You wouldn't be making jokes at other people's expense to the extent that they're questioning themselves or you or how they're behaving. If I have to sit there and wonder why you just said that, or what did you mean by that, or why you didn't tell me something, I don't need you in my life, because I have better things to worry about. And if I'm sitting there questioning your behavior, I'm not figuring out the next move for my life, figuring out how to deal with the next job loss or next recession. I'm not working to make my life better. I'm sitting there trying to figure out why your actions are so. That's not a good use of our time, and our boundaries are supposed to protect us and keep us safe. And if people are breaching them, that means we don't feel safe around these people. If you're watching what you're saying, if you're questioning who you are, then, or what they're doing, or why they said that, or why they didn't say that, that person does not deserve a space in your life. But only you get to decide what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. So decide, and then keep that standard. You can write it down. You can ask yourself, what am I okay with? What am I not okay with when it comes to my friends, my partner, my family, my coworkers, people I meet on the street? What do you allow? And at the end of the day, it is your decision to make, and nobody else can fault you for it. Because at the end of the day, this is your life, and nobody else gets access to it unless you allow them to have it. One other thing that we're constantly doing is sharing with people what we want life to look like, what our goals are going to be, what we're trying to achieve. But at the end of the day, you don't have to share with anybody what those goals are going to be, because the more people know, the more they feel like they just got a test that they need to grade, and they're going to tell you exactly what they think about it. Whether these are people you're very close to or not, people are going to take that position because you have given them that power. If you tell somebody what your goal is, and you can do this by giving them a fake goal, and they start questioning you, they look at you like, oh, really? You think you can do that? It is a good measure because this person does not actually want the best for you. If somebody ever tells you that they're jealous, or that they wish they had something that you did, or they think that what you have you don't deserve, that person's not going to ever think differently about you. They're never going to show up for you when the going really does get tough, when you need somebody to rely on, when you need someone to talk to, because they have cemented their position that they're not there for you. They're just there to witness what's happening. And a lot of the times, people don't like you because of where they think you're going and not even where you are right now. So your goals are yours. They are your dreams that you are meant to make come true. And other people are not obligated to have access to that. And just because somebody asks a question about what you're going to do does not mean you need to answer those questions, to divulge their curiosities. You do not have to give to them what you are not willing to share. And at the end of the day, when we do have goals, we have to pick one. Our life only begins after we make a decision. You have to pick a place that you want to live, a job that you want to work at, people you want to hang out with. You have to pick. And that doesn't mean this is the last time you get to make this decision. This is not the last person you're going to have the chance to be friends with. There are other people, there are other places, there are other things, but you have to make a choice right now. You have to learn from this decision today and right now in order to make a better life for yourself. But that's only going to happen if you put in the work to figure it out where it is that you want to go. You can climb any mountain you want, but you have to figure out which one it is. And if you get to the top and you realize this isn't where I want to be, that's okay. Or if you get a quarter of the way up the mountain, that's all right too. But you have to decide that for yourself, and you have to figure out, what does success look like for me? Is it money? Is it a successful relationship? Is it being a parent? Is it living in a certain city? Is it having a certain degree? What does it look like? Only you get to define it, and only you have the obligation to bring that to life. Everybody around you is going to try to put their agenda on you as much as possible. Of course, we all want the friend that's going to get up and just do whatever we say and be there for us, but that isn't going to serve us unless that is where we want to be. Unless we are in a place in our life where, yeah, I just want to party and have fun, but there is a point where I want to transition out of that. And if you transition out of it and your friends are still trying to force you into that narrative, well, now there's some decisions to be made. People are going to try to create a story around you, and they're going to try to make you adhere to that for as long as possible because it benefits them. People are constantly benefiting from you not knowing where you want to go or what you want to do with your life. They're okay with you not really having a decision on where you go for dinner or what you're going to do with your life because they get to mold you into what they want. But if you do have a decision on these, people are very less likely to sway you from that because you have a choice that you want to make and you have a decision that you want to go towards. So at the end of the day, if people are being allowed to influence your life for the negative, they will. But you get to also decide who you're going to be around in a variety of ways. We can listen to podcasts or read books or watch movies and shows and be around the mindsets and the behaviors that we want to, even if it's in a more artificial way now. We might as well use it to our advantage, because the majority of people we see are the people at work, our families, and some of our friends. But even then, a majority of the time we spend with our own thoughts. So if we don't have goals and we're just listening to whatever music and whatever podcasts that aren't teaching us anything, we're going to be in the same place over and over again. We're not picking a mountain. We're just kind of walking in circles, hoping to get somewhere that we don't know and are assuming somebody else will point us in the right direction. But if you are around people who are minimizing you, who are making you question their behavior, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to figure out what goals you want, because at the end of the day, what is it that you're going towards? And if you don't know, how can you get there? Your GPS is only going to take you to the location that you put in it. But if you don't put in a location, you could sit in your car all day. Your phone isn't going to create any directions for you to take. So what direction are you trying to go in? What are your goals? What is the purpose that you're trying to pursue? And it doesn't have to be the purpose of saving the world. It could be enjoying life. And you'd even see that a lot of the people in your life don't even fit into that category, because you're questioning what they said and how you felt, and now you're thinking about the conversation and not in a fun way. Make that your purpose, and then realize how many people are not even serving that. Let alone you're trying to get fit or get a new job or create a business, write a book, whatever it is you want to do, it's possible, but the people around you will stop you because of the energy that they're throwing at you. There is this idea of the expectation effect, that if a teacher believes that a student is smart, that student will be that. If a teacher does not think that the student can achieve something, that student won't, because of the behavior that the teacher is showing to that student. They're going to be nicer to the smart one. They're going to give them more opportunities. They're going to give them more direction than the one that they think isn't smart. So how are you around people that are keeping you in the same place? How are they projecting onto you that you're actually not smart enough, that you can't achieve these goals? And a big indication is, what do you talk about when you're around them? Is it goals, or is it other people and complaining, and they have certain dreams, but they don't know how to bring them to life, and then they just talk about guys? What is it? What is it that you talk about? Because that is going to determine where you're going to go and how you're going to achieve it. What do your goals mean? And if they don't mean enough, then all these little things, these conversations about people, that's what is going to be prioritized. But if that's not what you want, then you have to shift your focus and make sure that your time is being spent in the areas that you want it to be. And now the last thing is travel. Talked a little bit about that for one of my things that I learned in my 27 years, but travel is how you grow as a person. Travel means that you're doing something that's different, something that you haven't done recently or haven't done before. It means that you are trying something and putting yourself in a situation where you're going to be a different person. If you go to a new country and you don't know the language and you're trying it out, or you're trying new foods, you are automatically growing your brain because your decisions are changing you. You're making decisions. You're getting to the museum, you're walking these new paths, and your brain is growing. And like we said in that other video, you don't have to go to a new country every single day to be able to do this kind of growth. You could go to the same restaurant that you always go to and order something new. You don't know what's out there until you put yourself in a position to find out. The people that are around you are also keeping you trapped, or they're bringing you to that next destination. If you feel like you can't share your life with certain people because they're going to be jealous, then you are restricting yourself and you can't even travel within the people that you are surrounded by because they are making you feel small. No one's going to do it for you. At the end of the day, you have to be the one to book the flight, to book the train, to go to the restaurant, to order that thing. You are the one that needs to put in this work. Just like you're the only one who's going to enforce your boundaries and create your goals, you're the only one that's going to travel and to create a life full of meaning and excitement and joy. And the more people you meet, the more you realize that we're all really the same. I had this realization when I was 19 and I got to travel Europe. I went to a bunch of countries, and the more people I met, the more I realized we were all focusing on the same thing. We were all looking for connection and acceptance and validation from the people that we were around. We were looking for love or our next step or the person that was going to walk with us through this life. And even when we found those people who were going to do that, we still were at a loss, because what were we going to do as individuals? And travel proves that to you over and over again, that no matter who comes with you on these trips, you walk this life alone. You have to have goals outside of your relationship, outside of your friendships, outside of your family. You have to have meaning outside of another person. The only person that you're going to live with for the rest of your life is yourself. It does not matter how many times I try to explain to somebody what I've been through. I will have only been the person who went through all of it with me. The only person who got me through those emotions, who got me up off the floor when I was crying and upset and didn't know where I was going next. I was the one who had to put one foot in front of the other. And that created a version of me that wasn't going to let other people come in and just do whatever they wanted. I was going to travel in my life, whether I was getting on a plane or in my car or I was walking to my couch. I was going to move in my life as much as possible. Because even if we go to another country, if we go to another state, no matter where we go, there we are. We have to realize that the person that we are is the one that matters the most. Because we could go to all these places, but if we're not good with ourselves, it won't matter. It won't matter who comes with and who doesn't. At the end of the day, I am the person that needs to stand up for myself and to decide, you know what, enough is enough. I'm going to get on the plane and I'm going to enjoy this life. I don't care that this person doesn't want to be in my life or hurt me. I'm moving on. And you get to reinstate those boundaries every single day. I get to choose who gets access to me and who doesn't. There was plenty of people who reached out and said happy birthday, and I was like, interesting, because 6, 7, 8 months ago, last time I had a birthday, I went through a time where I needed to hear from you, and I didn't. So I really don't need to hear from you now. But that was a choice I got to make. And that is a decision that we all get to make. And if I reach out to someone and they don't want to talk to me, that's okay too. Because I get to choose my life and they get to choose theirs, no questions asked. I can ask a question, but I don't deserve or have to get a response, and therefore I'm going to live my life that way too. If somebody wants to come to me and ask what happened, we can talk about it, but if it's not that important, we don't need to. I'm going to continue to move on as much as I need to, and that's it. So, the sun was getting a little in the way there, but travel, enjoy your life. People cannot catch you if they can't find you. Don't be in the same place over and over again and expect that things are going to be different. Your life is going to be better because you made decisions to make that happen. Whatever you do, wherever you go, it is your choice and it is your life. Travel, make boundaries, create goals, go after them, shift your course when you need to, but keep going. It doesn't matter what they did or didn't say or who they were or who they weren't. It matters what you decide to do with that information and to reduce the access as much as you need to. Because in order for us to rewire and to refocus, we have to let go of things. We can't focus on everything at once. We can only focus on one thing at a time. And in order for us to become the person that we want to, we have to take apart all of the habits that aren't working. Figure out what goals it is that you want. Figure out who's encroaching on your boundaries. When are you angry that people are coming to you or coming at you or saying jokes that just aren't funny and they're actually attacking you? People are going to behave in the ways that you allow them to. This is your life. You get to choose what you allow. And we have to spin the narrative that works for us and get to keep spinning it. This is our life, our story, and we're going to keep telling it. So I will see you next time. I hope you have an amazing week, and thank you for being here.